The winds blows hard in December, and you will too in about a month. We are almost there. We're almost at Xenoblade X Definitive Edition, and I was kind of hoping we'd get another trailer this month, but instead, randomly once again, they have decided to drop some previews with a lot of new information. We have Nintendo Life having their preview here, hands-on preview. It's not really much new, honestly. It's just kind of a general look at the game if you've never played it. And there's also a gameplay video, just a couple of clips put together. But the one I really want to focus on right now is this article by RPGsite.net. If you're new here, I'll let you know right now. I did make 2 videos about Xenoblade X, pretty much kind of like letting people know, hey, here's some stuff that you might not like about it, and it's better that you know that now. And also just to let you know what you can expect them to change, or at least hope for them to change. And already we're seeing that some of the stuff I was talking about has been addressed, so that's very exciting to me. You can change your party at any time. This is huge. This is a big deal. I know it might seem silly, especially after Xenoblade 3 with the heroes. But in Xenoblade X, you have all these optional party members that you can unlock, but you have to find them in the overworld every time in order to add them to your party. Hold on, I just noticed that there's more slots on this menu than there are party members in Xenoblade X, which means it's going to be like 3 to 5 party members. I don't remember the exact count here, but just to give you 5 predictions I have. The 2 new characters in that trailer, the girl with the white hair, and the person with like the big ass mask. The tiger guy, he should have been a party member, but then he just wasn't. The new dude, I'm really being specific here. The new dude in the epilogue could also be a character. And then number 5, just for the memes, Tatsu. I actually don't want Tatsu to be playable because it'd just be funny. I think it'd be funnier if he wasn't playable. But they could kind of finally address the fact that, hey, don't worry, he is kind of useful. So those are the 5 that I'm thinking of right now. Of course, there could just be all new characters we haven't seen yet that are also playable. Change the time whenever you want. I actually forgot about this. You need to go to certain spots in Xenoblade X, the original version on Wii U, in order to change the time. Now, it's just like any other Xenoblade. You just do it. Great. Quick cooldown. This one I didn't mention before in the new gameplay, but there is actually this new mechanic they added. Let's actually read about this mechanic. I can probably insinuate what it means just based on the name, but I haven't really looked at it that closely. So new to the Xenoblade series is the quick cooldown bar showing up alongside the battle UI. As long as you have any of this meter remaining, you can ignore the art cooldown time to cast any art you want with the tap of the Y button. You'll activate the art at the cost of some of your quick cooldown meter, instead of waiting for it to cool down naturally. The only caveat is that arts require a TP cost. Okay. TP is what you use to activate the overdrive in this game as well. So that's going to be an even more important resource in this game. The quick cooldown gauge is fully restored at the end of every battle and can be restored gradually as you do auto attacks. You can increase your quick cooldown pool by collecting energy discs as a reward for surveying Mira, another addition. Okay? Meaning the more you explore Mira, the more you can use quick cooldown. This may have some significant implications on combat balance deep into the game. Being able to spam 8 backslashes in a row is pretty busted. That does sound pretty funny. This is a really nice feature. I would want this in any Xenoblade game, to be honest. Just to be able to get through those early parts of the game faster. Just like they said, it's just really nice. This is where I get a little hurt. I'm not surprised about this, but here we go. New story content. It is not accessed through a separate menu or launcher. You'll have to play through the main game to see the new content. I'm not surprised by this because they're adding cutscenes throughout the base game. It's not like Future Connected for Xenoblade 1, where that was just an epilogue added on it. You know, didn't really add any new cutscenes to Xenoblade 1's base game. And that's a shame, because I was really hoping I can just play it for the sake of just being updated, being in the know, getting to talk about it with everybody. Because now, just personally, I'm going to feel like I'm going to have to speedrun through the base game. Again, not surprising, but just for me, it's devastating. But then, it gets better. The tides have turned once again. No blade levels or division points. This is huge, because in one of my prior videos, I mentioned that field skills were a thing in Xenoblade X. Nobody talks about it, but field skills were in Xenoblade X. They weren't as prevalent as Xenoblade 2, But in Xenoblade 2, at least you have the context, right? At least there's a reason why the blades have those abilities. They're actually contributing to the overall idea of the game. The field skills in this game was just there. It was just kind of a barrier of entry, and so what they did in this remaster, now that blade levels are gone, that means field skill levels are also gone. Almost. There are still a few locked treasure items that require side quests, yada yada. But there's no such thing as archaeological field skill level 4 anymore. And that to me is crazy. Most treasures on Mira can be obtained right away. I did not expect this change. It makes sense in retrospect because, as I just stated, they weren't really that important in any way. Like, if they did Xenoblade 2 Definitive Edition, I would not expect this. Do not expect this if Xenoblade 2 Definitive Edition happens, because it's just more important to that game. In the confines of Xenoblade X, it does make total sense to just remove them. They were arbitrary. Who cares? Nobody's gonna miss it. Frontier Nav is access to the menu. That's not surprising. That was on the gamepad before, now it's just a menu. Okay, here we go. Affinity levels with party members fill more quickly. This is ginormous. One of my biggest complaints about Xenoblade 1 and X is that filling up the affinity takes so long. It takes so long because you want to do those heart-to-hearts at the very least. There's heart-to-hearts in this game as well. But it's important in this game even more so because you have those quests that you have to do with your party members. There's even a few story-gated missions, which, by the way, I forgot to mention that. If you didn't like the community in Torna, there are instances in Xenoblade X where you have to do something. You have to grind for something before you can continue the story. In this case, though, it's going to make it a little easier now that these affinity levels fill more quickly. Party members not active still gain EXP. I want this for every game. Every game should have this. I'm tired of it. Every JRPG should have this. I will die on this hill. You now gain rewards for completing your survey of Mira. Okay. Such as the energy clips for the quick cooldown. And now there's more defined quest tracking. Doesn't surprise me because that was in Xenoblade 1 Definitive Edition. Alright, that was a lot of information just thrown at us. But I also want to look back here real quick, because one of the things I also mentioned in a prior video is the intro of this game. The entire onboarding of this game is very slow, especially for an open world game. But what's nice is because they're willing to cut down on these blade levels. They're willing to literally cut out certain mechanics. That tells me that the onboarding of this game, even if the cutscenes are still long and drawn out, there's going to be less tutorials overall, right? If you just have less mechanics, if you're streamlined in general, that should cut down on the onboarding process. Theoretically. Oh, actually, shout out to Nintendo Life. They did add this little tidbit here. We should also mention, for returning blades, you can no longer go through vehicles and skells in downtown New LA. The Switch can handle it. We did it, guys. So on the Wii U version, if you don't know, the cars were literally just, you just phase through them. You can walk through them. It was very funny. It was funny, but also immersion breaking. Now, we finally made it. Technology has succeeded at the end of the day. The cars and vehicles and skells are real. So unfortunately, as of this moment, I don't really see any other new information. Maybe I'll wait a couple minutes just to make sure I don't get flanked by something else. But what I will say is that, does this mean that we're not gonna get a trailer soon? We do have to get one more trailer, surely. But it is a little strange, because February, for just the general Nintendo fan, for the past couple of years, we've always gotten a Nintendo Direct in February. Considering this just came out, that probably means that's not gonna happen. So, we're still in this awkward waiting period. Maybe next month. There's the Pokemon Presents, of course, but maybe next month, that's when we'll get the final trailer for Definitive Edition. Okay, I should just edit the video right now, honestly, but if something new pops up in like the next 30 minutes, I'll pop back in. okay? But thank you all for watching. Assuming this is the end, thank you for watching. It's very exciting news. Not as much news perhaps as we wanted, but it's still really nice. It's promising. And the quality of life, just so much is being added to this. It's not just the new story content. There's just so much quality of life. It's insane. Removing mechanics, adding mechanics. They're really going all out for this definitive edition. And that just means the world for any fan of this game back on the Wii U. And it's gonna mean the world for you if you're playing it for the first time on Nintendo Switch. Even if you can't necessarily appreciate all the changes because you don't have that comparison, it's just looking like just way better and way more intuitive, smoother, all that good stuff. This footage that we're ending on is not interesting. I think this is like the beginning of the game. Oh well. I'll see you guys next time, whenever that is.